this is Audrey from Fasnews Radio Club. We have some exciting news to tell you today. Please welcome our newest member in Fasnews Radio Club, Scarlett Verity. Welcome, Scarlett.
Thank you.
First, Shema and Louise will tell us about the UN. Then, Scarlett and Cosette will tell us about a visit from Officer Knudsen. Next, Louise and Lolly will read us a poem about sloths. After that, Lolly and Mia will tell us about a movie that all 5th graders and 7th graders watched, Demain, nous. After that, there will be a presentation on sloths by Louise and Camille.
Hi, it's Cosette, and first up we will be having Louise and Shema doing a presentation on the UN.
Hello, this is Louise and Shema, and both of our parents work at the UN. As most of you know, the 5th graders went on a trip to the UN a few months ago, and we would like to explain a bit more about this establishment that was created many years ago. My mom works at the UNGC, also known as the United Nations Global Compact, the establishment that made to help the environment. And my dad works at UNFPA, the United Nations Population Fund, the establishment on medical situations. I asked my mom these 2 questions. What's the UN accomplished so far this year? And what would happen if we didn't have the UN? And I asked my dad why he chose to work at the UN and why specifically he chose to work at UNFPA. And this was her answer. First of all, there is one main objective for the last 4 years. The UN has launched a new plan to save the planet and reduce negative impacts that humans have made. It's called the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, and it helps all the governments that are a part of the UN, the people and the companies, to understand what we all need to accomplish by 2030 to make the world a better place. We have very little time left to act before things change dramatically, especially in climate change. This year, this is what the UN has done to achieve this goal. General Mr. Antonio Guterres has asked all governments and companies to develop concrete plans to show how they will reduce their carbon emissions, address climate change, and respond to the SDGs. The UN is also working in many other areas, especially peacekeeping, and it has helped diffuse a lot of tensions in international conflicts. Her answer to the question, what would happen if we didn't have the UN? She responded, the UN was established after World War II to prevent another global war. Even though not all governments enjoy the UN due to the fact that everyone has to agree, the UN has still helped the world in many ways, such as the ones that I just described. Another reason why the UN is good and why we need it is that with the help of the UN, countries act more responsibly and do not declare war on any other nation. And I asked my dad why he chose to work at the UN, and more specifically, why he chose to work at UNFPA and not any other agency. He said that he went to the UN because of the SDGs. He likes the UN's purpose and what they were doing to change people's lives. And to answer the second question, why he chose to work at UNFPA and not any other agency like UNGC or UNFPU, he told me that he wanted to work on health and medicine since as a child he wanted to be a doctor but never got the chance. He also wanted to help people, which is the #1 priority at the UN. My dad also liked the SDGs and figured it would be the right job for him.
Thank you so much for that amazing presentation about the UN. I know I loved the field trip to the UN and learned a lot of new things. Next up, 2 students in our group have combined 2 things they love, sloths and poetry, and they have written a poem about sloths. Louise and Lolly, take it away.
Ode to sloths. My world is full of sloths. Sluggish, cute, and sometimes both. The lovable sloth might be so slow, but I love them with all my heart. They do not run and do not hide, but they chill on a vine. People might ask why. All I know is that they are blind. You might think that's sad, but it's actually not that bad. I love sloths. Louise Conteville and Lolly Lors.
Thank you. I had no idea that sloths were blind. Next up, we have Mia and Lolly doing a presentation on the movie the 5th to 6th to 7th grade classes went to see about the future and how we can develop it.
Bonjour, ici c'est Lali.
Et Mia.
Le 28 janvier, on est allé voir un film qui s'appelle
Demain, nous.
Ce documentaire explique comment les enfants de 10 à 13 ans peuvent changer le monde. Par exemple, un garçon au Pérou crée une banque pour enfants qui leur donne de l'argent pour aller à l'école. Les enfants doivent juste ramasser du papier. Je trouve cette idée très bonne car ça aide les enfants qui n'ont pas assez d'argent pour aller à l'école. Et en même temps, ça aide aussi l'environnement.
My favorite person in the movie was Hina. She tried to put a stop to child abuse and labor. This bright young girl created a group that protects those children from their parents or employers, with the help of the police, of course. I really like the boy from South Africa, Hunter, who raised rhinoceroses and protected them from being poached, but the movie did not focus on him. I learned a lot from this documentary, and it really motivated me to help with these global problems.
My favorite character would have been Arthur, an average 10-year-old who lives in northern France. A pretty typical kid. But what makes him special is that he paints. You might be thinking, but every typical kid paints. This kid sells his paintings and buys survival supplies. And then he gives these supplies to homeless people and tries to interact with them. He's not so typical now, is he?
Merci beaucoup. Prochainement, nous avons une présentation faite par moi et Scarlett sur la visite d'un officier de police.
Hello, this is Scarlett.
I'm Cosette, and today we will be talking about a police officer that came on January 30th and talked about the Fourth Amendment. The fifth graders just finished a unit of study on the amendments. He came and we asked him all sorts of questions about this topic. He told us a few stories about how he carried out the Fourth Amendment during 3 arrests. The Fourth Amendment protects citizens from unreasonable searches and seizures by the government. One of the arrests was about a man driving his girlfriend's son to school in his girlfriend's car. He is pulled over by the police for a traffic violation. He doesn't have a legal license, and the police are also see that there are some drugs on the dashboard. The question Officer Knudsen asked us is if the police had the right to search the trunk of the car for more drugs.
So they pulled him over, asked him a few questions, and called his girlfriend. She came by, and in the end, the police asked her to bring her son around the corner. Then the man got arrested because he had drugs in the car. In the end, all the stories were interesting. It protects against the Fourth Amendment protects against arrests, search warrants, safety inspections, and stop and frisk, which means the policing practice of stopping a person briefly in order to search them for weapons or prohibited items. We learned so much about the Constitution and the Amendment of the U.S. We really enjoyed it.
Next up, we have a quick commercial break about our upcoming science fair for the 3rd to 6th graders at our school that Louise and I have made. Hi there! Did you know that our amazing school has its science fair for 3rd to 5th graders? If you're interested in science, then you can pair up with a partner or work alone and make a project.
L'Expo Science est le 25 mars. Si vous voulez, venez nous joindre. On serait très contents si vous pouvez venir utiliser vos compétences.
Thank you very much. I hope you end up signing up.
Bye!
Bye. And remember, the science fair at Fasnews is a real-life chemistry. If you go to our school, make sure to go on Fast Times and sign up for the science fair. Suivant, nous avions une rubrique sur les paresseux faite par Camille et Louise.
Bonjour, c'est Camille.
Et Louise,
Cette semaine, nous allons présenter les paresseux.
car c'est mon animal préféré.
Les paresseux sont des mammifères habitant en Amérique du Sud. Ils pèsent de 2,2 à 10 kg.
Les paresseux mesurent près de 70 cm. Ils peuvent dormir jusqu'à 18 heures par jour. Le paresseux est un animal extrêmement lent. C'est même le 7e animal le plus lent du monde.
Il avance au maximum à peu près 0,6 km par heure. Ça fait seulement 10 mètres par minute. Malheureusement, nous ne savons pas combien de temps ils vivent. Par contre, savez-vous que les paresseux sont aveugles?
Heureusement, pas toutes les espèces de paresseux sont en voie de disparition, mais certains sont menacés. Camille, est-ce que les paresseux sont-ils carnivores?
Non, ils sont omnivores. Ils ont une alimentation variée. Ils mangent des feuilles et des petits lézards, par exemple.
Speaking of food, did you know it takes a sloth 30 days to digest a leaf? Another fact is that they poop a third of their body weight in one go.
Fun facts about sloths. Sloths pass 90% of their life upside down. Sloths can turn their head 270 degrees. Sloths rarely move more than 48 meters a day.
Thank you, Louise and Kemi. And that brings us to the end of our very interesting episode. Hope you enjoyed this edition of Fasnews. We'll see you next time for a new episode. Bye!